Well, hello, the atheists and the Christians and the Jews and lots of other people. Odd one out is the atheists, basically, and the agnostics, I suppose, in a way. Whatever the reason everyone might be watching. There are actually reasons why people should find it funny, religion, and a lot of people could find it very depressing, religion, depending on how and when you look at it for inspiration, etc. You might have seen one of my other videos about the Holy Bible, which is very interesting. I thought it was anyway. In which case, you might enjoy this one. So most atheists can we know what most atheists are looking for or look for, can't see in the Bible and other religious books. It's not actually such a big laugh really here and now. Not that it needs to be a laugh. Having a religion is not like riding a horse, jumping it on a horse and riding it and riding it and riding it, or jumping in a car and steering it and bellowing down the road as fast as you can, breaking all the speed limits. You have to actually get it serviced eventually. That's why they have racetracks, because they like to service the car, or service the horse here and there, after every mile or whatever. You'll find that most atheists or strange people, and a lot of people are going to get upset about this. I guess they jump in their car and speed off down the road. And you think, what the hell's he doing with that car? And it's because he doesn't realise that you need to service it eventually. Within the next mile or 2 miles, you're doing that with your brakes. Or if you've got a horse, you've got to muck it out and do all those things. Well, a Christian does that. A Christian knows how, and a religious person generally knows how to do that sort of thing. There are amusing points towards it, really, I suppose, in a way, but I can personally see why. I can see why a lot of people think that God took God 7 days, or 6 days, really, and he rested the seventh day. Why not have a rest? Why did he take 7 days? He's God. He should do it in. He should just do it and it'll be done. But really, it's a bit like making an apple pie. Really, you have to, or a pie itself. In many respects, you have to savor it and enjoy it and be a delight to it yourself. Put a little bit of energy into it. Put a little bit of yourself into it, maybe. Then we have sin starting off with Adam. You can see where the atheists and the non-believers and the disbelievers come into it. So, and then his sons were very similar. One killed the other one. They were sent into the wilderness. It was quite a bad wilderness. It's here, even it's today. Realistically, we're in the wilderness today because God sent Adam into the wilderness. He hasn't taken us out of the wilderness. A lot of people think, "Oh, this is brilliant stuff," and we've got a silly little Bible telling us things. But when they wonder whether there's a war or something and whatever, it's because we're still in the wilderness years. Realistically, maybe improving in some respects, it may be getting worse in other respects. Maybe leading to a disaster somewhere, but that's the way it is. So then we have Abraham, who's gonna sacrifice his child on Moriah, and a voice told him not to, and hence we have Jerusalem, which starts off basically as Moriah. Mount Moriah starts off as a place where people were killing children. So you can read that in the Bible. They were killing, offering as sacrifices to God, whatever God would take a female or a male person instead of a ram or something, a sheep as a sacrifice. But that's how it worked out after Abraham. Most people would actually sacrifice a ram or a sheep or a goat. So basically, what happens after that is a confusion of the mind concerning religion. Abraham is the father of the Jews. He's also the father of Christianity in many respects, because through his lineage we have Isaac and Israel, Isaac and Benjamin and all that lot, or Judah and all that lot. The names of the 12, I think it's 12, is it 12? Benjamin, Judah, Simeon. There's all virtually little states in Israel, weren't they? If you know your geography and your history, that's how it started. Well, that's all a bit of a laugh until that point, really, because then they started getting to the nitty gritty of religion, didn't they? So, it took Moses 40 years to get these people out of Egypt and basically out of Sinai mainly. And that's because of the hardness of their hearts, because they were disbelievers. God gave us 10 commandments, and he made them in stone. He did it with a laser gun or something. He's a very clever, God, with his laser gun. And I don't know how else you do it, but probably might have stood there chiseling at it, for all we know. But he gave us 10 commandments. He did them very well. And while he was doing that hard work, the Jews were making a calf, a gold calf, and having wild, obnoxious parties, killing each other and sacrificing and doing all sorts of nasty things. And Moses comes down the mountain and he broke the commandments, and he said, I'm not into this business where you're making a gold calf and having all night orgies. So they agreed something somewhere along the line where they actually needed more than 10 commandments. Basically, they needed some sort of strange covenant which God gave to them for the hardness of their hearts. Moses went up the mountain again, come back with the 10 commandments or whatever he did, and they put them in the Ark of the Covenant, which he had to make because he didn't want to have a gold bull, so they didn't want him to have all night raging parties. And some of the atheists and the non-believers in that time, they got very upset and very cynical, and they wanted to kill Cosby and his girlfriend with a spear because they threw both of them at the same time in a tent, and it was quite a nasty little business, really. And they became cynical, and he had the Levites who were nasty, and some of them were disbelievers, not all of them. And there was quite a bad time, really. But I mean, because of the hardness of their hearts, it took them 40 years to get out of this barren land called Sinai, which was even more barren in those days. Probably had pterodactyls flying about or something. Even still, it was about 10,000 years ago. I don't know. Anyway, getting back to the story of where the atheists fit into this society. It's all a bit of a laugh, a bit of a game. Things aren't going too well. I think God's main purpose and thought was to, because of the largesse and the superiority of the Hebrews, they would actually make friends and make amends along the way, and people would see their superiority because they were quite clever people. As it happens, they had lots of wars, killing and destroying people thoroughly to get to where they went to, the land of Canaanites land. So basically, there were lots of prophets along the way, and we could laugh at the numbers and how many people were there, and it was all written down one after the other, and we can have a laugh at Ezekiel. He went a bit mad with his temple. Some of these doctrines have been mishandled over the years as well, and some idiot basically hasn't necessarily been a good person, somebody's omitted quite a few gospel books, and they've chosen the man's idea. It's man's idea of the Bible. So you have to go for man's idea of the Bible, because quite a bit of it has been omitted. There was other holy books as well, but they were omitted. They weren't the only holy books that make the Bible. Anyway, not just Acrophibia either. There was other books. So you got man's idea of the Bible. Okay. That's all very amusing. Anyway, so we end up with sin, basically. And a man who jumps on his horse, drives it all day, and doesn't care for the weather. It's not going to be rainy tomorrow. It's not going to be sunny today. That's basically the atheist, isn't it? Or the person who doesn't believe in God. Whereas you have the believer who tills his soil, tills everything in his mind. He knows what he's going to do. He knows how he wants to impress his friends. Basically, he takes an idea of an inkling of life. He's read the Bible, but he can see the good points to it. It's not just a joke. It's not just something serious. It's not unserious. It's something very serious. What do you think so far? Huh? Pretty depressing, isn't it? So, next time you go down the road and you hear somebody barking off down the road in his car, it might only be a small car, might be a big car, but he's revving it to high horses, and it's spinning the wheels. Probably might be a young guy, might be an old guy, but he hasn't really worked out the fact that he's got to. They do it on the telly because they service it within 2 miles. They don't do it on the road and go and service it the next day because they haven't got the money, and it's just the way it goes. Anyway, I'm not going to practice and preach to you, but you can see my point of view, can't you? How it works out. I know a lot of people are going to write their comments down, and I hope you can see my point of view as well. Noted.